Good evening, and welcome to our 2024 ASHE Awards ceremony. I want to begin by acknowledging that we are on the traditional ancestral homelands of the Dakota people, the original inhabitants and stewards of the lands and waterways of Minneapolis. The cultural history of the Dakota people begins at the confluence of the Minnesota and Mississippi rivers, a sacred place they call Pedota, and is shared with the Ojibwe people, whose homelands extend northward from the city. Personally, I am grateful that we've been able to be visitors to this land over the past 2 years. As we begin today's award ceremony, I want to take an opportunity to thank a variety of people who have helped to make tonight possible. First, I'd like to thank our award ceremony sponsor, MDRC, as well as our Dissertation of the Year sponsor, the Center for the Study of Higher Education at Penn State, which is where the award namesake Dr. Bobby Wright served. I'd also like to thank the 41 members of our ASHE Awards Committee, Chair Raquel Rawl and the ASHE Awards Committee, Chair Chase Catalano and the Outstanding Book Award Committee, Chair Cheryl Ching and incoming Chair Sarah Lynn McKinnon Crowley, and the Bobby Wright Dissertation of the Year Awards Committee. And our Council Award Committees, Chair Ryan Miller and the CAHEP Awards Committee, Chair Natasha Kroom and the CEP Awards Committee, Chair Katie Koo and the CIHE Awards Committee, and Chair Kevin McClure and the CPPHE Awards Committee. Our awards process begins in March of each year and wraps up tonight as we recognize the very outstanding ASHE members and scholars. Thank you to these ASHE leadership volunteers for their service to ASHE and the fields of higher education. I also want to acknowledge and thank ASHE Assistant Director of Communications, Naomi Rodriguez, who has served as a staff partner for all of these awards committee and has helped steward our process throughout the year. For tonight's program, we're going to be recognizing some really outstanding ASHE members and scholars. Our association-wide award recipients will be recognized by various awards committee members, as well as some of our board members. Our council award recipients were recognized earlier in the week during council business meetings, and we'll recognize them tonight with a brief video by each awards committee chair, each council awards committee chair. And then we'll end the night, if you see in the middle of your table, is some sparkling cider with a toast to all of our award recipients. So welcome, thank you for being here, and to all of our award recipients, congratulations.
Hello, my name is Selyna Beverly, and I'm representing the Bobby Wright Dissertation of the Year Award Committee, recently chaired by Dr. Cheryl Ching. This award is in honor of Dr. Bobby Wright, a Native scholar of higher education whose life and scholarship foregrounded Native resistance, survival, and agency in the face of settler colonialism and white supremacy. The Dissertation of the Year Award is named in his honor and is sponsored by the Center for the Study of Higher Education at Penn State University, where he served as an assistant professor until his untimely death. ASHE is grateful for the center's continued support of this important award, and to the center's director, Dr. LaWanda Ward. The Bobby Wright Dissertation of the Year Award recognizes one or more dissertations that tackles a significant topic in a methodologically exemplary way. This year, the committee agreed that 2 studies exemplified these qualities and stood out among a field of strong dissertations. The institutionalization paradox, how investments in campus cultural centers simultaneously marginalize them, by Dr. Jackie Pedota, and Who Gets to Be Well, a multi-method social network analysis of well-being for Black and Indigenous college students by Dr. Paris Wicker. Dr. Jackie Pedota, according to her nominator, Dr. Liliana Garces, Dr. Pedota's case study is a timely and theoretically rich endeavor that, quote, draws out with nuance how power and race inequities in predominantly white institutions can produce a paradoxical weakening of campus cultural center strengths as they make their way into the fabric of the institution, end quote. The reviewers agreed, noting the important lessons that the study findings afford for practitioners and researchers committed to racially just organizational change. Congratulations, Dr. Pedota.
Thank you all so much. I first want to thank ASHE and the Dissertation Award Committee for their work and for this incredible honor. I feel very grateful that I have this platform to uplift the experiences of Cultural Center directors, staff, students, and faculty who do such life-changing work on their campuses and hardly ever get the recognition they deserve. This award is very much shared with them, as this dissertation would not have been possible had these center directors not opened up their homes to me. And yes, very much literal homes, as these spaces are homes for many students of colors who continue to be excluded at predominantly white institutions. I'm so thankful to be constantly surrounded by a community that believes so much in my potential and my work, being surrounded by brilliant and caring friends, family, by my partner, Chris, by colegas and mentors, especially my wonderful dissertation committee members, Dr. Antar Tichavakunda, Dr. Joshua Childs, Dr. Huria Jabbar, and Dr. Liliana Garces, who was my chair. I owe so much to the strong and unapologetic Latina women who I have been surrounded by my entire life and who have shaped me into who I am today and will continue to be as a person and as a scholar. A mi mamá, que sacrificó mucho por mí, mi hermana, my mom did anything that had to be done to ensure I had the educational opportunities I needed to even be on this stage in front of you today. And last but certainly not least, Dr. Liliana Garces has been with me since day one. She has always believed in me, even during the most difficult moments, when I didn't believe in myself and I had little to no energy to continue. For me, she continues to be a model for how to be in this academy and be true to yourself and your values. She is, and I know she will always be, one of my most fervent advocates, and I just feel so blessed to have her in my life. Thank you all.
Dr. Paris Wicker. As her nominator, Dr. Rochelle Winkle-Wagner noted, Dr. Wicker's 3-paper dissertation makes the unique contribution of simultaneously analyzing the individual and structural dimensions of Black and Indigenous students' well-being and success in college. A departure from current work that frames and explores student success as a product of individual decision-making. The reviewers likewise applauded the theoretical and methodological sophistication of Dr. Wicker's dissertation, with one highlighting the nuanced way in which she draws out, quote, the topic of student well-being as a racialized concept, an experiential construct, end quote. Congratulations, Dr. Wicker.
A compromise would surely help the situation. Agree to disagree, but disagree to part. When after all it's just a compromise of the things we do for love. 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 The things we do
heavy. Wow. As someone who studies relationships in higher education, I am acutely aware that while my name is on this award, I by no means succeeded alone. Thank you to the ASHE Dissertation Award Committee and to Penn State for your labor and sponsorship. Thank you to my Native relations and Indigenous friends and elders who held space for me, allowed me into your communities and homes, and trusted me with your knowledges and experiences. Like many of you, this dissertation process was full of doubt and fear and many, many tears. I was sustained by my social network. Thank you to my dissertation committee, Angela Welton, Lynn Posey-Maddox, and Shuli Wong. Also, this project would not have existed without the support from my advisor and dissertation chair, Rochelle Wingo-Wagner. You are an extraordinary scholar and mentor, and I'm so grateful that we can do this journey together. To those who have encouraged me, written with me, sent me snacks, prayed with and for me, your support has meant more than you know, especially acknowledging the all-encompassing love from so many Black women scholars. To my husband, Roger, and my daughters, Jubilee and Elodie, thank you for your unconditional love, oftentimes from afar. Finally, I dedicate this award to the Black and Indigenous students who are laboring every day for well-being. Well-being is our birthright, and may your stories inspire us all. Thank you, and be well.
When the dead lies ahead of me seemed impossible to face, and when someone else instead of me always seems to know.
Sorry, I was prepping for the ASHE Dash. As the chair of the Outstanding Book Award Committee, it's my honor to present this award on behalf of the entire committee. Dr. Tanisha Lane, Dr. Olivia Morales, Dr. Brian Pousser, Dr. Paul Rubin, and Dr. Doris Watson. The Outstanding Book Award recognizes a book that makes a significant contribution to the study of higher education. Clearly, I did not train enough. It's going to be a rough morning. The award is open to any book published within the last year that advances theories, knowledge, practices, pedagogies, and/or policies in the field of higher education. This year's award winner is best characterized by this statement from committee comments. A tremendous book that is as engaging as it is educational. The author's critical voice, combined with facts, histories, statistics, and references, provide a powerful argument for social justice. Her narrative style is as compelling as it is beautiful. A highlight from her nomination letter said, Dr. Poon writes this love letter to her daughter, instilling each word with empathy. She combines rigorous empirical research, historical analysis of legal cases, and Asian American history, and narratives from her own racialized experiences and from diverse individuals across the Asian American community. This approach engages not only the scholarly community, but broader audiences in examining race and racism through varied Asian American perspectives, uncovering stories often overlooked in higher education discourse. It is my honor to present the 2024 Outstanding Book Award to Asian American is Not a Color, Conversations on Race, Affirmative Action, and Family by Dr. OiYan Poon. And TT.
I was high as the sky. I was just dancing. Say let's go home.
I'm tired. Let's go home.
That was a good walk-up song. Thank you, Ash. All right, thank you so much for this award. Thank you to the Book Award Committee. I've grown a lot with scholar friends and collaborators here in the ASHE community, and we've lifted each other up and held each other accountable. And I wanted to give a shout out to each and every one of you individually, but there's really not enough time. I actually tried, and it would have taken at least 5 minutes to go through everything. But I do want to say a special thank you to Mike Wawin for coordinating this nomination. In the research projects forming the basis of this book, I benefited greatly from working with stellar graduate students, many of whom are now accomplished scholars in their own right. For this book, deep gratitude goes to Dr. Megan Segoshi. There are key communities of people who have been my teachers, collaborators, and supporters, and I'd like to thank you. UCLA School of Education, Asian American Studies Center, especially the students and faculty and community of the late 2000s, the aughts, the AAPI Policy Advocacy and Community-Based Organizations, the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Loyola Chicago and Colorado State higher ed programs from 2012 to 2020, the Scholar Mamas on WhatsApp, the Amicus Brief Writing Team and CAFCO Lab crew, my editor Rachel Marks and the whole team at Beacon Press, the independent bookstores, public libraries, and campuses that have invited me to be in conversation about the book. Please, please buy local and support our public libraries. Thanks and love to my husband, Todd. You make everything possible. Research can be a powerful tool for social justice change, but we are rarely taught to write and communicate for the public. My inspiration to take down the paywalls is my daughter, Clemente Poon Vanadalak. When she was 3, she spoke the words that are on the title of the book. She would like to take the mic now. Close us out, Tay-Tay.
Hello, everybody. I'm very happy that you all came to share this special day with me. I want to say that I'm very thankful for my mom because she brought me into this world. I am very proud of the book and how I mentioned Asian American is not a color. It's not in the crayon box. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Good job.
I'm Ryan Miller, Vice Chair of the Council for the Advancement of Higher Education Programs, and I'm honored to introduce the recipient of this year's Barbara Townsend Lecture Award. The Barbara Townsend Lecture and Award recognizes a lecturer and lecturer focused on community colleges, feminist studies, doctoral education, or higher education programs. This year's recipient is Dr. Ellen Broido. Dr. Broido has been a professor of higher education and student affairs at Bowling Green State University since 2001. Her research and publications include journal articles, chapters, and books about experiences in higher education relating to disability, gender, and sexual orientation, and ally development in college students, staff, and faculty. Dr. Broido's lecture is entitled Valuing Care Work in Higher Education Using Feminist, Disabled, Queer Lenses. Congratulations, Dr. Broido.
Please welcome to the stage Dr. Witenstein, Acting Chair of the ASHE Awards Committee Early Career Award.
OiYan song was much cooler. Not fair. I'm just kidding. So I'm here to present the ASHE Award speech. Well, that's my ASHE Award speech for the Early Career Award. Too verbatim. So to begin Dr. Salazar's award speech for Cinthya Salazar, I want to thank her for serving as a leader in our ASHE community in utilizing participatory action research in meaningful ways. Her dedication to the communities she works with is quite evident from her nomination materials and serves as an opportunity for each of us in the ASHE community to consider the ways in which we do our work, the careful considerations we make when working in and with communities, and how we work with communities to help make choices and changes that are helpful to them. In her nomination letter, the writer shared, while undocumented students is her primary research agenda, her use of student co-researchers to investigate undocumented issues has made her a leading PAR methodological expert. Working in tandem with co-researchers demonstrates humility. Hence, it's not surprising that one of her nomination letters shared that she's also a remarkable human being that shows compassion and humility. The field of higher education needs scholars like Dr. Salazar to lead us into the future. Comments such as these were prominent throughout her brilliant and glowing recommendations, and of course, evident in her work. Moreover, her work perhaps is a clarion call to each of us as we consider participatory and collaborative methods in our work, as a nominator shared that a pair of her articles in Community College Review and the Journal of Higher Education are notable for their methodological rigor and profound insights into the systemic barriers faced by undocumented students. What an opportunity for those of us in the ASHE and greater higher education community to engage with Cinthya's work and perhaps apply it to projects and dilemmas we're working on in communities. So tying together several strands of her nomination file, another recommendation letter commented that one of the strongest features that sets Dr. Salazar apart from other applicants is her commitment to the communities she seeks to understand, as well as her strong methodological experience to support student development and retention. I aspire for ASHE to elevate more dialogue on participatory and collaborative and community-engaged work, and the narratives connected to scholar and community commitment to addressing dilemmas from an asset-based manner, which Cinthya often does. And with that, I welcome ASHE Early Career Award winner Cinthya Salazar to the stage.
Muchísimas gracias. Buenas noches. Thank you so much for this recognition. As you can probably notice from my voice, I'm a little bit nervous tonight and kind of embarrassed too because I'm not like a spotlight person, but tonight I really want to share my 2 minutes that I was given by thanking all the people who really helped me be here tonight. And I know I will not have enough time to mention all the names, but I want to start saying thank you to the community who is at the center of my work. I do participatory action research with, for, by undocumented scholars, and without them, without their trust, I will not be here tonight. So I really want to start by saying thank you to my co-researchers, co-presenters, and co-authors. I have had I think it's fortune and privilege to work in community with 24 undocumented scholars at different stages and phases of their careers and their lives. And I'm gonna mention each one of them, their first name tonight, because my career is because of them, and with them and without them, I would not be here tonight. So I wanna thank Paula, Alejandro, Cindy, Juan, Berta, René, Karen, Andrea, Francesco, Judith, Yomeli, Litsi, Omar, Oscar, Timoteo, Laureli, Judith, another Judith, Ariadne, Felicia, Tony, Alonso, who's here tonight, and Gloria. They have really entrusted me to do work with them, and I need to continue doing the work, and you all need to continue doing the work for undocumented students. We need to show up for them every day with a bold attitude, because we, at this moment, at this critical time, We really need to do the work, take the work seriously. They need us more than ever, but we also need to do the work with them. I also want to thank the awards committee, of course, for doing all the work, for reading all the files. And I want to thank my nominators and my mentors, Dr. Susana Hernandez and her family, Nayeli and Nacho, Dr. Glenda Musova, Dr. Kenny Nyunghasser, Dr. Michelle Espinolira, Dr. Cecilia Rios Aguilar. They nominated me tonight, and I am very thankful for their support, the sponsorship, and mentorship, because they recognize that the work with undocumented students, for undocumented students, needs a space like this. I want to thank my support system, which is my family, my partner, Juanpa, and my son, Juan. I want to thank my sister scholars who are here tonight, my amiga del alma, Doctora Berenice Sanchez. Thank you for everything. I want to thank my parents. I want to thank my siblings, my family in Peru. We were an undocumented family. We were affected by these issues and continue to experience immigration injustices in several capacities. I also want to thank my advisees and my mentees who have helped me build this career with them and for them. And lastly, I want to thank the 86 participants who have trusted me with their stories, my co-researchers, with the most vulnerable experiences and intimate moments that we could have shared these past 6 years together doing this work. So thank you so much, and let's keep doing the work with and for undocumented students.
From the corner of my girlfriend's four-post bed. I know it's not mine, and I know she thinks she loves me, but I never can believe what she said. Something so deceiving when you stop believing. Turn it around again.
Oh, excuse me. Hi. It's an honor to present the ASHE Special Merit Award to the Pullias Center for Higher Education at the University of Southern California. The Pullias Center has been a trailblazer in advancing equity and access in higher education for nearly 3 decades. Founded in 1995, the center's mission has evolved from a focus on access and student success for historically marginalized groups to broadly supporting equity across the field. Through its commitment to early career scholars, the Pullias Center has trained and supported hundreds of graduate students and postdocs, many of whom have become higher education leaders across the country. Under the leadership of Dr. Bill Tierney, the center has also revolutionized research practice partnerships, beginning with initiatives to create college-going cultures in Los Angeles schools and expanding to collaborations with districts and colleges statewide. These partnerships have not only improved policies and practices, but have also introduced a transformative approach to scholarship that bridges research and real-world application. Additionally, the Pullias Center has led groundbreaking studies in areas such as racial injustice, student success, and shared governance, while championing innovative methodologies like qualitative and mixed methods when they were on the margins of the field. We thank the Pullias Center for its deep commitment to ASHE and transformative contributions to our field. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor.
Islands in the stream, that is what we are. No one in between. How can we be wrong? Sail away with me to another world, and we rely on each other. From one lover to another.
I think we win. And I'm not talking about the Special Merit Award. Thank you for this incredible honor, which I'm pleased to be accepting on behalf of Adriana Kezar and the Center. One of the phrases we hear and use often in higher education research is working in community. And while it's valuable to do this within our disciplinary training silos and our institutional environments, We know that the true magic in academic scholarship, the creativity, the understanding, and the impact come when we transgress boundaries, as our founding director, Bill Tierney, liked to say. So it was his vision for the Pullias Center, being purposely multidisciplinary, intentionally bridging research, practice, and policy, that helped to create this special mission that it has of creating change by advancing equity through scholarship and practice at the same time. Since arriving at USC in 2016, I've been privileged to be a part of Pullias and to work alongside brilliant colleagues. Adriana Kezar has offered steady leadership through some challenging times during the COVID pandemic, and along with Zoe Corwin has modeled the power of academic advocacy, a call not to use our freedoms to sit still, but to speak and act for change whenever we can. This recognition belongs to many. Thank you to ASHE, to the awards committee, and to our nominator. It's also thanks to Pullias' dedicated team, Monica Rod, Diane Flores, Cheryl McPhee, and the many brilliant students, postdocs, and faculty affiliates who influence and enrich our work every day. Rael Johnson, Adrian Huerta, Duana Bradley, Steve Desir, as well as Joey Kitchen and Ron Hallett, our outstanding faculty colleagues. We're also grateful to our sister higher education centers in Rossier and their leaders, Darnell Cole and Shafika Ahmadi, Sean Harper, and Estella Ben-Simone. We want to thank our funders and the many, many partners we have across Los Angeles, California, and nationally. The research practice partnership model, as Tomika mentioned, and the collaborations that make them up really are the engine behind the change that we're pursuing together. Finally, we mourn the loss this year of two extraordinary and irreplaceable colleagues, Tatiana Melguiso and John Slaughter. Both of them were gentle giants of their fields, but their influence is continuing in the lives that they've touched and through their own advocacy in moments where it mattered the most. We're dedicating this award to their memory, and if you might be moved to contribute to Tatiana's Memorial Fund, feel free to approach any of us from the Pullias Center or shoot us an email. Thank you for this meaningful recognition.
Greetings. My name is Dr. Natasha Kroom, and I have the privilege to serve as the current chair of CEP and the CEP Awards Committee. I'd like to first acknowledge the labor of those who submitted nominations on behalf of all of our wonderful nominees, as well as the labor of those who served on the CEP Awards Committee. The 2024 recipient of the CEP Founders Service Award is Dr. Lissa Ramirez-Stapleton. Dr. Ramirez-Stapleton is Associate Professor of Educational Leadership at California State University, Fullerton. With over a decade of involvement in ASHE, she served as chair of CEP from 2020 to 2022, where she created the CEP Accessibility and Equity Inclusion Subcommittee. That work shifted ASHE's accessibility framework to center disability justice rather than simply individual accommodation. Her research and community-oriented praxis have significantly advanced both CEP and ASHE's goals of organizational equity, diversity, and inclusion. Congratulations. CEP's Mildred E. Garcia Award for Exemplary Scholarship recognizes scholar practitioners engaged in outstanding scholarship centering equity and racially minoritized communities. The Garcia Award is presented to one early career scholar practitioner and one mid to late career scholar practitioner. The 2024 recipient of the CEP Mildred E. Garcia Early Career Award for Exemplary Scholarship is Dr. Stephanie Aguilar-Smith. Dr. Aguilar-Smith is Assistant Professor of Counseling and Higher Education at the University of North Texas. A former graduate student representative on the ASHE Board of Directors, she is being recognized for her scholarship related to advancing grant-making practices within Hispanic-serving institutions. Her research agenda addresses equity issues related to funding mechanisms, highlighting the need for federal support that avoids resource hoarding among wealthier universities. The 2024 recipient of the CEP Mildred E. Garcia Mid to Late Career Award for Exemplary Scholarship is Dr. Sidney Freeman Jr., who is Professor of Adult Organizational Learning and Leadership at the University of Idaho. He is founder and editor-in-chief of the Journal for the Study of Post-Secondary and Tertiary Education and founder of the University of Idaho's Black History Research Lab. Dr. Freeman is being recognized for his scholarship related to minority-serving institutions and historically Black colleges and universities, as well as his emphasis on Black faculty throughout the academic career cycle.
Please welcome to the stage ASHE 2024 President, Dr. Jenny Hart.
Good evening, everybody. The Distinguished Service Award recognizes the engagement and extension of the mission and vision of ASHE, enrichment of the experience of members, and generally exceptional commitment and significant contribution to the success of ASHE. I am honored to present this award to Ken Redd. Ken is the Senior Director for Research and Policy Analysis at the National Association of College and University Business Officers, or NACUBO. In this role, he directs the annual survey of college and university endowments and other studies on higher education and finance. He came to NACUBO from the Council of Graduate Schools. Ken is a fellow of the TIA Institute, recipient of the National Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators Robert P. Huff Golden Quill Award for contributions to the literature on student financial aid, and named one of the 10 up-and-coming thinkers of higher education by the Chronicle of Higher Education. Ken served on the Budget, Finance, and Compliance Committee for 3 years, and then assumed the role of chair. At the end of the conference, Ken will be completing his term. While it may not be obvious to the entire membership, the role Ken plays is critical to the sustainability of the association. Ken served as wise counsel for our fiduciary responsibilities. The board made the decision to move this year's conference from New Orleans to Minneapolis. This decision came with financial implications, and Ken's leadership and advice facilitated our decision to lead with our values and not break ASHE. He also provided counsel to help us effectively manage the immediate after effects of the COVID pandemic on our budget. On a personal note, Ken has been a trusted partner to me during my presidency. And as I was developing the theme and was thinking about the kinds of scholars in our community who are unsung, Ken immediately came to mind. I am thrilled to be presenting this award to him as another way to celebrate the conference theme, I Am a Scholar.
Try to do this without crying. Thank you, Jenny, and good evening to my fellow ASHE members, friends, and guests. I am truly humbled to be here tonight receiving this award. I'm particularly honored to join the stage with so many scholars whose work I've admired and enjoyed for many years. I want to extend my hearty congratulations to all the other award recipients this year, all of whom are extremely talented and deserving. Receiving this award this year is a particular full circle moment for me in so many ways. First, less than 5 miles from here, I went to graduate school at the U, at the University of Minnesota. That's right, shout out to the U for sure. It was at the Humphrey School of Public Affairs where I first learned how to do quantitative research, and where I was given the opportunity to conduct research in higher education. My time in the Twin Cities continues to impact me in so many ways. That is why I want to acknowledge and thank several of my friends from the Twin Cities area and from the Humphrey School who are here with me tonight celebrating. Second, this conference celebrates my 20th anniversary of becoming an ASHE member. Oh, thanks. I first joined ASHE in 2004 and attended the conference in Kansas City that year. Since that time, I've had the opportunity to serve on the planning committee twice, to be chair and discussion on a number of papers and panels, and to be part of a presidential session. More recently, as Jenny mentioned, I've served on our Budget, Finance, and Compliance Committee for the past 6 years, and chair of the BFC, and a member of our board of directors for the past 3 years. I want to thank my predecessor as chair, Dr. Jeffrey Sun, who really did set the stage for the work that I and my fellow committee members did over the past 3 years. ASHE has truly provided me many opportunities for professional development and growth. More importantly, ASHE has given me so many friends and colleagues who I've had the pleasure to work with for a long, long time. I'm not going to give away my age, but yeah, it's been a while. While ASHE is giving me this award, it is me who has to say thank you to you and your guidance, your friendship, and your stewardship for now more than 2 decades. Third, this year's conference theme, I Am a Scholar, really does speak to me, as Jenny mentioned before. The work I've done at NACUBO, at NASFA, and other places have fortunately had an impact on so many higher ed policies, on financial aid for students, and financing of students and student aid policy. I'm glad this year's conference is celebrating this theme, which recognizes those of us like myself who have taken a non-academic path, but still have been able to have an impact on education policy. Finally, I really want to thank, above so many others, my friend, the amazing Dr. Jason Gilbo. Jason, ASHE is so very fortunate to have you at the helm. You and your very talented and dedicated staff have made all the difference. I know this year has not been the best for you and for ASHE, but I want to recognize you and your stewardship of our association. We are very fortunate to have you at the helm. And last but not least, I want to thank my friend, Dr. Jenny Hart, who I've gotten to know for the last few years. Jenny, your friendship and guidance for me has been incredible. It is I who owes you a debt of thanks for all you've done for ASHE. Thank you once again, ASHE members. This high honor I'm just truly humbled by tonight, and so grateful for you and your friendship over the years. I will cherish this award for the rest of my life.
Please welcome to the stage ASHE board member Antonio Duran.
What's the sense in sharing this one and only life? Ending up just another lost and lonely wife. You count up the years and they will be filled with tears.
Hello, everyone. Hello, ooh, yeah. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Kristen A. Wren, who many of us lovingly refer to as simply Chris, this year's recipient of the ASHE Mentoring Award. Chris embodies the spirit of a mentor in every way, shaping students and emerging scholars through her dedicated guidance, inclusivity, and exemplary scholarship. Her commitment to mentoring is truly transformative. She has chaired over 40 dissertations and served on nearly 100 committees, fostering the development of scholars whose work expands our understanding of student development and inclusion. In her classrooms and research teams, Dr. Wren builds inclusive environments where diverse perspectives are not only welcomed, but essential to collaboration.
This approach extends nationally, as seen in her founding of the LGBTQIS 2S+ Higher Education Research Symposium, which brings together voices from across the country. And don't forget that Chris is a highly respected scholar herself, having shaped work on college student development, LGBTQ+ issues, and student success. And as one of the first out queer scholars in higher education, she has brought her full, authentic self to the work, setting an inspiring example for others and always being willing to support emerging scholars, myself being a beneficiary of her mentorship since I was a master's student. Her support for LGBTQ+ scholars and her mentorship across diverse identities highlight her deep commitment to this work. We are thrilled to honor Dr. Kristen A. Wren, Chris, for her outstanding impact on higher education and the lives of her mentees. Congratulations, Chris, and thank you for your dedication.
Thank you to the ASHE community, the awards committee for selecting me, and Dr. Brandon Smith and Alex Lang for supporting and organizing my nomination. Thanks to those who wrote in support: Antonio Duran, Jay Garvey, Zena Galazzo, D.L. Stewart, Jody Jessup Banger, Jody Lindley, and Casey Ozaki. To whatever extent I've been able to be a mentor and a model in our field, I've done so as an extension of those who have mentored me and been a model for intellectual, professional, and personal generosity. I owe who I am first to my mother, my first, best, and ongoing mentor, for teaching me that regardless of my gender, I could stand on my own 2 feet in a world that at the time was still not ready for girls and women who had opinions. Before I named my own identities, she put in my way the women and queer role models who were the possibility models for my future. The future they introduced me to was one in which I have found intergenerational communities of queer scholars. Coming of age as a lesbian higher educational professional and scholar at the height of the AIDS epidemic taught me quickly not to take relationships for granted. We are not promised tomorrow. And when we do have opportunities to create and sustain communities, we have a duty to do so with generosity and fierceness, with critical hope, and with queer joy. I am who I am as a mentor and friend because of mentors and friends I have. Not all of these names are ASHE people, but all are my people. And I dedicate this award in their names: Tomika L from Mount Holyoke, Mark Nahorny from Boston University, Robin Rose at Brown, Karen Arnold and Philip Altbach from Boston College, Bill Tierney, Ana Martinez-Alamán, Mike Bastido, Jeff Grimm, and the late Carl Cutchins. I am indebted to colleagues past and present at Michigan State, including former ASHE President Ann Austin, and the 2 MSU colleagues who are previous recipients of this award, Marilyn Amy and Roger Baldwin. Both of last year's recipients were Spartans, Pam Eddy and Krista Porter. Being surrounded by these generous colleagues enriched my career and showed me what it means to be a mentor in this field. Finally, I returned to queer joy. I share this award with my spouse, Dr. Melissa McDaniels, who's here today. Melissa. She is a higher ed scholar, and she is a scholar of mentoring. So much of what I have learned about the topic has been through her scholarship, her practice, and her leadership in the field of research mentoring. I learn constantly from her and her team at the University of Wisconsin's Center for the Improvement of Mentored Experiences in Research, through reading their work, catching part of Zoom calls at the dining room table when I walk through. Thank you, Melissa, for being a model for advancing equity through mentoring, and for your indulgence when I come to you with some new discovery I have made about working with students and colleagues. She's very patient. Your love and support make it possible for me to be who I am in the world. Thank you. And thank all of ASHE family for this honor. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm serving Council on International Higher Education, CIHE, as an award committee chair. It's my pleasure and honor to announce the award winner for CIHE Award for Significant Research on International Higher Education. This award recognizes a highly significant research outcome in the field of international and competitive higher education. We have 2 awards this year, the Best Book Award and the Best Article Award. I'm very pleased to offer the Best Book Award to Dr. Shahzad Kemiap and Rosalind Rabi for their edited book, Unintended Consequences of Internationalization, New Perspectives on Educational Change. This book presents diverse case studies of internationalization in higher education institutions around the world, such as Africa, Asia, Europe, Latin America, Middle East, and North America, by identifying unforeseen or unintended impacts within and across countries. Congratulations, Dr. Shahzad Kemiap and Rosalind Rabi. It's my pleasure to offer the Best Article Award to Dr. Pilar Mendoza for the article titled Activist Scholarship and Borderland Feminism, Resisting Coloniality and Liminal Internationalization. In this article, Dr. Mendoza merged several bodies of literature to frame her activist international scholarship within the literature on coloniality, liminal internationalization, and borderland feminism. She engaged in critical flexibility and a deep understanding of the structures of power around international scholars' work. Congratulations, Dr. Pilar Mendoza.
Please welcome to the stage ASHE Board Member Felicia Commodore.
Darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say, it's alright.
Good evening. We'll have to add that to the Scholar soundtrack this year. It is my deep personal honor to introduce Dr. Laura W. Perna as the recipient of this year's ASHE Research Achievement Award. Dr. Perna's contributions to higher education research are profound both in depth and in impact. Dr. Perna's empirical work has fundamentally shaped our understanding on a range of topics that include the ways in which social structures, educational practices, and public policies promote or hinder college access and success, particularly for students who hold minoritized identities and those who have access to fewer resources. Dr. Perna's frameworks, such as her model of college access and choice, have become foundational in our field. Her research on financial aid and equity in higher education has informed both policy and practice, with her conceptual model cited over 1,600 times. Not only have her insights guided other researchers, but they have also reached beyond academia, with Dr. Perna testifying before U.S. congressional committees and impacting educational policy at the national level. Her work is rigorous and methodologically innovative, often using nationally representative samples to yield insights that are both generalizable and sensitive to differences among student subgroups. Through quantitative and qualitative methods, Dr. Perna examines how structural inequality shape college opportunities, and she has highlighted the role of social, economic, and policy contexts in perpetuating these disparities. Her influence has been recognized by scholarly organizations via her election to the National Academy of Education, her appointment as a Fellow of the American Educational Research Association, and her receiving the Excellence in Public Policy in Higher Education Award from ASHE's Council on Public Policy in Higher Education. With nearly 20,000 citations, multiple prestigious awards, and leadership roles in the field, Dr. Perna's work has been both a beacon and a bridge, advancing equity and access in higher education. We are thrilled to honor her outstanding contributions with the ASHE Research Achievement Award. Congratulations, Dr. Perna, and thank you for all that you have done and all you have given the field.
Wow. I am also just so incredibly humbled and honored. It's really something to be called out by your peers and by an organization that has just been such an important part of my scholarly career and really my identity in person for such a long time. So thank you. I want to offer sincere thanks and appreciation to so many people. Thanks to the nominators who took the time to write for me. I really appreciate that. Thanks to the selection committee. I've had so many different thought partners and supporters and collaborators and students who have taught me and critics and partners who have been part of this work. And I think that's the other humbling thing about getting an award like this. It's not really me. I'm part of a community of people just working hard to try to make a difference on issues that I think are important. I want to mention in particular thanks to faculty and fellow students from my time at the University of Michigan, people at the first tenure track job that I held at the University of Maryland, my colleagues at Penn, and so many other peers and mentors and collaborators. I also want to give a special shout out to critics. As I think back on the most fundamental, profound experiences that I've had over time, it's because critics have grappled with the work and provided me with feedback that has pushed me in new directions. I also want to call out and thank ASHE, and really when we mention ASHE, it's all the people, past, present, future, who are part of this organization, largely volunteers, so thank you and appreciation for all that you do to create space for us to come together and connect and be part of a community that really is committed to doing high quality research that tries to make a difference on important issues. Like Ken, this really feels like a full circle moment for me. My first ASHE conference was in November of 1994 in Tucson, Arizona. It's hard to see, but was anybody else there? I feel like a very old person in this community. Yes, thank you. Such a formative experience for me, meeting icons in the fields and beginning to feel part of a professional scholarly community. ASHE has been a constant for me since that first conference. I've missed a couple with birth of children and other things, but ASHE has been constant as I've navigated professional and personal parts of my life. I also want to give just a few thoughts as we continue to go forward and think about the role of ASHE. And really these are wishes for all of us. So I hope that at this conference, everyone here makes at least one new connection and that you carry that connection with you forward. For me, that's been one of the benefits of coming to the conference. I also hope that you leave the conference with at least one new idea that catalyzes and energizes your work as you go forward. And I also hope you leave here with renewed energy and enthusiasm. This work really matters, and we only can make a difference step by step, one piece at a time, and in community of folks doing the good work. And we all know that now more than ever, we need this high quality work from our community. So thank you for this wonderful honor. Thank you for the privilege of being part of this community.
Please welcome to the stage ASHE Community Past President, Ana M. Martinez Alon.
It's on the railroad that daily make us pay. Laughing in their face.
I'd like to make a request for an ASHE karaoke at next year's.
but I think Felicia should DJ, so let's work on that. So it is my very, very dubious honor to bring to you the Howard Bowen Distinguished Career Award to a scoundrel, to a troublemaker, and that's why I adore him. But it is my great honor to present this year's Howard Bowen Distinguished Career Award to you. Today we recognize Dr. Amaury Nora, a true pioneer whose groundbreaking work has fundamentally reshaped our understanding of student retention in higher education, and in particular for those of us who understand how being a Latino in higher education or being a racially minoritized student matters. Dr. Nora stands as one of the first Latino scholars to employ sophisticated multivariate analysis in studying student retention factors across both 2- and 4-year institutions. His innovative use of methods like path analysis and structural equations has opened new frontiers in understanding the complex dynamics of student success. The impact of his work speaks volumes. Over 32,000 citations, his research has become foundational in our field. But numbers alone don't tell the whole story. Amaury's theoretical framework revolutionized how we think about Latinx student retention by incorporating crucial elements previously overlooked: students' ethnic and cultural backgrounds, their high school experiences, their community interactions. Together with colleagues Laura Rendon, who's here today with us, and Jalomo, Dr. Nora challenged conventional retention models that were based primarily on white student experiences. He pushed our field to consider the unique experiences of racially minoritized students in their college journeys, from transition to engagement to completion. His leadership has been equally impressive. He was the editor of the Review of Higher Education for a decade, and through his service on the ASHE board, Dr. Nora has helped shape the scholarly conversations in our field. His roles as Associate Dean of Research at both the University of Houston and the University of Texas San Antonio demonstrate his commitment to advancing research and policy. Even in something he sort of calls retirement, Amaury continues to serve our field through his expertise in various projects, including several vital initiatives at the University of St. Thomas focused on Hispanic student success. As a mentor, he has guided numerous doctoral students who have gone on to become distinguished scholars and leaders in our field in their own right. His dedication to teaching research methods has helped shape the next generation of education researchers. The Howard Bowen Distinguished Career Award recognizes individuals who have made extraordinary contributions to our field, the field of higher education. Dr. Nora exemplifies this through his scholarship, leadership, mentorship, and unwavering commitment to advance equity in higher education and to give us a little bit of trouble. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Amaury Nora as this year's recipient of the Howard Bowen Distinguished Career Award.
Mama tells me I shouldn't bother, that I ought just stick to another man, a man that surely deserves me, but I think I do. So I cry and I pray and I beg, love me, say that you love me, fool me, go on and fool me, pretend that you love me.
I really don't know what to say after all of that. I almost think like, thank you, and I'm gone. However, I do have a few things. It looks like a lot of pages, but it's only because I'm old and I had to do big print. Okay. I would like to start by saying that I am deeply honored and very humbled to receive this ASHE Award. It is quite an honor to be nominated and chosen for such a prestigious award. At this time, I would like to thank the ASHE Awards Committee and the scholars who nominated me for this award: Dr. Laura Rendon, Vijay Kanagala, Gloria Crisp, and Estela Ben-Simon. I would also like to thank my family, my wife, my daughter, and my son, and friends and everyone that has been a part of my journey, from an instructor at a community college to a professor at 4 different universities, to becoming the very first Latino editor of the Review of Higher Ed. As I think back to my journey, I could not have received this award without the help of so many people in my academic career, specifically Michael Olivas, Laura Rendon, Alberto Cabrera, John Smart, Ernie Pascarella, Pat Terenzini, and my statistic professor, Dr. Carbonari. I started on this path in higher education because of my dear friend and mentor, Dr. Laura Rendon. Laura was working on her doctorate at the University of Michigan and came home for the holidays. We visited and talked about her research, theoretical frameworks, which at the time I had no idea what that meant, methodology, and graduate school. It was at this time that I became interested in graduate school. She encouraged me to seek a doctorate in higher education. That is where it all started. I once wrote a chapter for a book in which I spoke of 3 mentors in my academic life. All 3 played significant roles in my career in higher education. Michael Olivas was not only my major professor, dissertation chair, and friend, he was also a true mentor. From the very first time I sat in his class to the time I did a postdoc with his institute and throughout my entire academic career. Laura Rendon not only encouraged me to seek a doctorate in higher education, but provided meaning to my journey in higher education. She said something to me that has stayed with me in my teaching, research, and publications. Always remember that what we do it for the students. John Smart was my 3rd mentor. I remember the day that he, Ernie Pascarella, and Corina Ethington came to me at a conference and asked if I would consider joining their faculty. He took me under his wing as an assistant professor and guided me all the way through to full professor. I think back to a time when I was ready to give up in a future in higher education. I told John that I didn't think that my work was being acknowledged, noticed, or used by anyone in the field, and I was ready to give up on my career. He put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Don't you know, it usually takes 10 years or more for someone to have your work recognized and cited. It will happen." And I guess it did. I also want to thank all of my former students throughout the years at USC, the University of Houston, University of Chicago, Illinois at Chicago, and the University of Texas at San Antonio for the opportunity to learn from them and be inspired by them. There are far too many to name them all. Many have gone on to become excellent scholars, educators, and administrators. Thank you again, everyone, for this special moment in my academic career. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kevin McClure, and I am an associate professor of higher education at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and chair of the Council on Public Policy and Higher Education. It is my honor to announce the recipient of this year's Excellence in Public Policy Higher Education Award. So please join me in congratulating Dr. Denise Gandara, Associate Professor of Educational Leadership and Policy at the University of Texas at Austin. Dr. Gandara's research focuses on the development of higher education policies and their impact on racially minoritized, low-income, and underserved students. Dr. Gandara critically examines how funding for colleges and universities can either promote or hinder social equity, and she is dedicated to translating her findings into evidence-based recommendations for both policymakers and practitioners. Once again, congratulations, Dr. Gandara, for this award. Very, very deserved. And thank you for being an outstanding representative of the public policy community across higher education policy and practice.
Sing along, but that kind of feels like I should. And this will date me as well. I think the first time I heard that song was on Jerry Lewis Telethon. Each ASHE president has the opportunity to award the ASHE Presidential Medal to someone the president deems worthy of public acknowledgement. With our return to Minneapolis and ASHE's ongoing work to cultivate meaningful and authentic relationships with Indigenous peoples that are rooted in truth-telling, respect, and reciprocity, I selected Tad Johnson as this year's recipient of the Presidential Medal. At last year's conference, Tad engaged with our members as part of the Why Treaties Matter exhibit. It was an important and imperative part of our conference. In addition to the time and labor Tad gave to ASHE, Tad was selected for this honor because of his dedication to higher education, decolonization, and for his work reconciling these two through the Truth Report. This report focuses on the systemic mistreatment of Indigenous peoples by the University of Minnesota and offers specific actions that leaders can take beyond performativity toward healing. Further, his work embodies the theme of this conference, I Am a Scholar, which reminds us that scholars and scholarly work are not monolith, and that some of the most significant contributions to transforming higher education come from the work like the Truth Report. Tad is a professor emeritus at the University of Minnesota Duluth, founder of the Tribal Sovereignty Institute at the University of Minnesota Duluth, and the inaugural senior director of the American Indian Tribal Nations Relations at the University of Minnesota. In this role, he was the liaison between the University of Minnesota and the regional tribal nations. A member of the Bois Forte Band of Chippewa, Tad served as a tribal attorney for more than 30 years. He spent 5 years with the U.S. House of Representatives, serving as a staff director and counsel to the Subcommittee on Native American Affairs. He was appointed by President Clinton to the chair of the National Indian Gaming Commission. He has served as a faculty member of the National Judicial College and on the board of the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce. He continues his commitment to equity and decolonization in higher education as a member of the University of Minnesota Board of Regents. We know the importance of having board members with knowledge of higher education as they make decisions about the futures of our institutions and shape what they may become, and thank him for that work. Tad's wife created what he refers to as an embarrassing website. Despite that sentiment, one of the quotes from it truly speaks to his many gifts and reflects more reasons why he is receiving this award. I quote, "Yes, he is an academic, but whether he's speaking to U.S. senators or state employees, Tad explains tribal, state, federal history and policy to every audience with clarity and authenticity in a way that keeps their attention riveted. Whether giving a keynote about Native American religious freedom or treaty rights, or delivering a workshop about tribal sovereignty, Tad delivers the content that expands knowledge and understanding of Native nations in a way that audiences find thought-provoking and inspiring. Audiences leave with new foundation for being better neighbors and tribal partners," end quote. Tad is truly a scholar. Tad is unable to be with us tonight to accept this award. Representing him are two inspirational scholars who were also instrumental in writing the Truth Report. I am thrilled they could join us today so that they can accept the award and we can thank them for their scholarly contributions while students and into the future. I am pleased to introduce you to Anne Garagiola and Adriana Goodwin.
Singing for a song. Will you help him change the world? Can you dig it? Yes, I can. And I've been waiting such a long time for today. Slow motion riders fly the colors of the day. A bronze man
Catalano, Gijigan. Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing? Good, good. All right. Bonjour again. Adriana Goodwin, Indigenous Cause, Ojawa Shkubane Sikh, Mainga Nindudem, Misquagamiwi, Zagaigani Nindunjaba, Bamichikamagi Dashninda. Greetings, relatives. My colonized name is Adriana Goodwin, and I'm a citizen of the Red Lake Nation. It is such a tremendous honor to be here with you all. Miigwech.
Bonjour, Anne Gerjola, Indigenous Cause, Azabagoni Zagagan in Dunjaba. My name is Anne Gerjola. I'm from the Boys Fort Band of Chippewa. We're really honored to accept this award on behalf of Tad today, who's celebrating his 35th anniversary with his wife, Emily. Adriana and I had the honor of being among many folks from 11 tribal nations who worked on the Truth Report. We'd like to thank each of them for their hard work. And we'd also like to thank the Minnesota Indian Affairs Council and tribal leaders for their support, strength, and leadership. We also owe a Gitchi Miigwech, or a tremendous thank you, to Tad for his leadership, mentorship, and in addition to his scholarship, Tad is a respected elder in our communities with more than 3 decades of service to Indian country. He worked in Congress, in the Clinton administration, and for several tribal nations. He's helped secure and uphold tribes' legal rights to gaming, land, water, as well as hunting, fishing, and gathering rights. Last year, Tad was named the University of Minnesota's first Native American regent in its 172-year history. In addition to teaching countless students at UMD and the Humphrey School of Public Affairs, Tad has trained more than 3,000 state employees in tribal relations. And when he became the university's first person in a position of senior leadership that identifies as Native American, Tad once again turned to our tribes for guidance. He visited reservations and communities to talk with folks and learn about what they wanted to see from the university. From these visits, Truth, or Towards Recognition in University Tribal Healing, was birthed. An Andrew W. Mellon-funded initiative through Minnesota Transform, Truth was the first time the past, present, and future of university-tribal relations was researched from an Indigenous perspective. A mixed method study blending forensic and policy analysis with archival research and oral histories, Truth uncovered the university's role in Indigenous land dispossession and genocide, the Dakota War, the forced Dakota exile, and the hanging of 38 Dakota warriors in 1862. The university continues to profit from the policies put in place by the founders of the university nearly 200 years ago. So much land was taken from Minnesota's tribes that land grant endowments for 35 other universities were created from lands taken here in Minnesota, Makoche. The University of Minnesota has received several land grabs totaling more than 186,000 acres that were often taken through coercive and violent means. And the funds from the sale of those lands has endowed the PUF, or Permanent University Fund, little of which has gone to Indigenous initiatives or tribal nations.
Anne and I had the opportunity to continue researching on land grabs, and we're a part of a Pullias Center research project called Misplaced Trust, where 14 public institutions, including the University of Minnesota, the University of Washington, and the University of Arizona, have generated $2.2 billion in 2022 alone for their schools. While the University of Minnesota has taken small steps towards meeting the tribe's recommendations from the Truth Report, there is still much work to do. As members of the Academy, we ask that you make commitments to holding your institutions accountable. You must ask yourself, what have you done to open opportunities for Indigenous peoples in academia? What have you done to stand up for the land? One of our harsh realities as Indigenous peoples is that the United States government attempted to eradicate our people, but we are still here. The contents of Truth and Misplaced Trust are but two representations of this shadow of darkness. Today, American Indian people in Minnesota experience the highest rates of socioeconomic disparities, with the lowest rates of educational attainment, the highest rates of youth suicide, and cancer. We also acknowledge that higher education institutions were never intended for people like us. But we are at a moment in time where we now walk faster in the colonized world. Despite all of that was taken, Indigenous peoples have held intimate knowledge of all the plants, animals, and stars living in reciprocity with all beings. And this is what we seek to bring forward with us into the present and into the future, as we bridge connections with diverse peoples to change policy and research with the truth model to uplift all of our relatives. Water is something that connects each and every one of us, as water is our first home in the wombs of our mothers. In closing, I would like to share a water song composed by an Anishinaabe Kwe to honor this connection between all peoples. Nibe gizage go, gimi gwechawe, nimi go, gijawe, nimi go. Nibe gizage go, gimi gwechawe, nimi go, gijawe, nimi go. Nibe gizage go, gimi gwechawe, nimi go, gijawe, nimi go. Nibe gizage go, gimi gwechawe, nimi go, gijawe, nimi go. Miigwech.
This one yours?
Yeah, that's
I got
not
you.
done.
Okay.